Hi, I'm Eric Driskell, offensive line coach at Blue Valley High School. This video is going to be about outside zone, speed option, and jet sweep. Primarily the same blocking scheme for all three, but it's our outside play. Inside zone is still the mainstay of our offense, but without this outside play, it would not be nearly as successful. Now we're going to talk about blocking rules for the outside zone, jet sweep, and speed option. The first thing we're going to do is designate if we're covered or uncovered. If we're covered, that means we have somebody lined up either outside shade, head up, or inside shade. Or if you're uncovered, it means you have nobody on you. The first part of the covered rule. If you're covered, you're going to take a zone step with your play side foot. Zone step is a 6-inch lateral step with a good weight shift. We say about 75 to 80% of your weight should shift to that play side step. One thing we've got to make sure we have happen is that our toe angle. We have to open our toe to clear the outside half of the man that we're on, that's covering us. So we're going to take a good lateral zone step, opening up our toe, which in turn opens up our hips so we can block to the outside. We're going to run on 45-degree angles. We're going to try to cut people off. So my first step is a zone step, which is a lateral step with my weight shifted, my toes opening up so my hips get at the right angle, and I'm ready to go. My next step is going to be a rip with my backside arm, and I'm going to try to bring my foot through the same angle my toes at and bring my hips with me. So again, zone step, toe angle, make sure the weight's getting shifted. Next step is rip and bring the hips. Now one thing on the covered rule, we got to make sure that we're going to rip through the play side half of the man. We don't want to rip around him. We rip around him, he can get upfield and cause havoc in the backfield. We want to make sure that we're going to rip through the play side half. That's the covered rule. Any defensive lineman who gets ripped, primarily unless it's on a stunt, is going to try to cross his face and fight the pressure and get outside. That's what we got to fight with the hip, to get the hip past his hip, to maintain our leverage and stretch the defense horizontally. Stretch the defense. The uncovered rule for stretch or outside zone is going to be the same first step. It's going to be a zone step with a good toe angle. Now our toe angle is going to be pointed at the covered guy next to us that we're working with. What we're going to do is take a good zone step, weight shift, open up the toe towards the man that we're working with. We have a 3-step rule. We're going to take 3 steps after the first zone step down the line, pretty horizontally, and see if we can overtake the next man's guy. What we're going to do on that, if we can get to that point where we can overtake him, we're going to physically bump him off, let him get off and go to the linebacker and stay on his 45, and then we're going to rip through the man and work to get our hip through. Same scenario, I'm uncovered, I take my zone step, 3-step rule down the line, and they've expanded. The covered guy and his man have expanded so wide that after 3 steps, I'm not going to be able to overtake. Then I get on my path on my 45, and I try to get cut off a defender flowing from the backside. One thing we want to make sure that we don't do is we don't want to turn back for anybody. Those are the 2 rules we have primarily for our outside play, covered versus uncovered. There's a few differences we've got to look at between the 3 plays I talked about. The stretch play or outside zone, which we call 38 and 39, speed option, which is 18 and 19, and jet sweep, which is 28 and 29. What we're going to do